Welcome back, everyone. Today we're unpacking one of the most talked about moments in music and pop culture this year. Bad Bunny's historic Super Bowl 60 halftime show and why it matters far beyond the football field. On February 8, 2026, Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny delivered a performance that wasn't just a musical set. It was a cultural moment, a statement of identity, and a reflection of our times. The show drew over 128 million viewers, making it one of the most watched halftime performances ever. Today, we'll break down why this performance was revolutionary, the cultural conversations it sparked, how it impacted music, identity, and representation, and how audiences around the world reacted. Let's dive in to understand the impact. Let's set the stage. Bad Bunny took the Super Bowl halftime spotlight at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California. He became the first artist to perform primarily in Spanish on this iconic global platform, a bold choice for one of the world's biggest televised events. From the moment he walked on stage, the show wasn't just musical entertainment, it was a celebration of Puerto Rican identity and culture. From sugarcane fields to the casita, traditional Puerto Rican homes, to colorful dance and ritual. He also included powerful gestures like wearing a jersey with his family name, Ocasio, a tribute to his late uncle, infusing personal story into the spectacle. This halftime performance wasn't just about music, it was about identity, heritage, and belonging. Bad Bunny centered Puerto Rican cultural markers, music styles, dance forms, language, and imagery rooted in Afro-Caribbean traditions. Viewers saw scenes that resembled everyday life in Puerto Rico. A piragua stand, a neighborhood gathering, and even a wedding. Why this matters? Most halftime shows feature artists who perform in English. Bad Bunny's choice to perform in Spanish signaled that global audiences are ready for non-English pop culture on the biggest stages. He placed Puerto Rican culture on a platform watched by millions, not as a side note, but as the centerpiece. The show triggered renewed interest in Latin music worldwide. Streaming numbers surged, including a 470% increase in Spotify streams for his catalog immediately after the performance. This wasn't just entertainment, it was a message. Our culture deserves visibility. Our stories are powerful. Representation on this scale matters. When audiences see themselves reflected on a global stage, it resonates. For many in the Latinx community, especially Puerto Ricans, this wasn't just representation, it was affirmation. It invited people to feel seen, to cheer for themselves, and to share pride in their heritage with the world. People on social media shared emotional reactions. Some non-Latin viewers expressed a deep appreciation for seeing another culture celebrated, even if they didn't understand every word of the lyrics. This is key. Cultural resonance doesn't always require language comprehension, it requires emotional connection. The impact wasn't limited to the Super Bowl broadcast. Immediately after the performance, Bad Bunny's songs dominated global music charts, with dozens of tracks in top streaming positions worldwide. His setlist became the most played on Apple Music right after the show. Shazam saw record activity for a Latin or non-English artist, breaking tagging records during and after the show. This wasn't just a moment, it was a ripple that reached music platforms, global listeners, and industry charts overnight. Good art often intersects with politics, and this halftime show was no exception. Some critics framed Bad Bunny's performance as political, particularly because of its emphasis on Latino identity and his past commentary on U.S. immigration issues. In a time when American identity and immigration are hot-button topics, many saw the performance as a statement about inclusion, that America is not defined by one language or one cultural image, but by many. Of course, not everyone agreed. There were dissenting voices who criticized the show or felt it was too political. But that disagreement itself shows how art can ignite important conversations about who we are and who we want to be as a society. Let's talk about how audiences reacted. Across social media, the performance generated billions of views within 24 hours. Viral moments celebrated for inclusivity and representation. A widespread celebration from celebrities like Jessica Alba praising its unity message. Fans of all backgrounds saying they were moved emotionally, even without speaking Spanish. There were also unexpected moments, including a wedding that took place live during the performance. This tells us, people didn't just watch the show, They experienced it together. Bad Bunny's halftime show might influence future Super Bowl performers choosing cultural storytelling and language diversity. More global artists, especially non-English ones, to headline major U.S. events. The music industry's recognition that pop culture is shifting beyond traditional American pop dominance. There's already chatter online asking, did Bad Bunny change halftime shows forever? Will we see more diversity? More global representation? More artists unapologetically embracing their cultural voice on worldwide stages? Time will tell, but this performance definitely opened the door whether you loved it, questioned it, or simply watched it. There's no denying this. Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show wasn't just a performance, it was a cultural moment. It reminded us that music can build bridges. Representation matters. Cultural pride can be shared on a global stage. And that art can spark conversation, joy, controversy, and unity all at once. From Puerto Rico to the world, the impact of this halftime show will be felt for years, if not decades, to come. Bad Bunny has never separated music from style. And during the halftime show, fashion became part of the cultural storytelling. From Caribbean-inspired color palettes to streetwear silhouettes to nods to Puerto Rican symbolism, the wardrobe wasn't random. It was intentional. Historically, halftime fashion has influenced trends. Beyoncé's bodysuits, Rihanna's red jumpsuit, Shakira's performance wear. Bad Bunny's look reinforced. Heavy checkmark gender-fluid styling. Heavy checkmark Latin streetwear aesthetics. Heavy checkmark designer meets island influences. Heavy checkmark jewelry and layering as cultural markers. Within days, searches for Latin-inspired streetwear, Puerto Rican flag apparel, Caribbean color palettes, oversized suiting, reportedly surged across online retail platforms. This is the fashion economy at work. The Super Bowl isn't just watched. It's shopped. Let's talk money. The halftime show is one of the most valuable stages in entertainment. Artists don't get paid for the performance itself, but the aftershock is priceless. After the show, streaming spikes skyrocket. Tour ticket demand increases. Merchandise sales surge. Brand partnerships expand. For Bad Bunny, this moment solidified his position not just as a Latin artist, but as a global economic force. Latin music already dominates streaming platforms worldwide. But this performance validated it, centered it, monetized it at the highest mainstream level. It also likely boosted tourism interest in Puerto Rico. Cultural exposure drives curiosity. Curiosity drives travel. Travel drives economic growth. When culture is platformed, economies move. One of the most radical aspects of the performance. Spanish remained the dominant language. No translation. No compromise. No dilution. For decades, mainstream U.S. platforms subtly implied, if you want global reach, sing in English. Bad Bunny proved that theory outdated. Music has always transcended language. But this performance normalized something bigger. The idea that American identity includes multilingual expression. That Spanish doesn't need to be translated to be respected. That the largest televised event in the U.S. can embrace linguistic diversity, unapologetically. This is soft power. Language as visibility. Language as resistance. Language as pride. Think about the younger viewers watching that night. Latino kids saw someone who looks like them, speaks like them, moves like their culture, commands one of the biggest stages on earth. Representation at that scale plants seeds. It says, you belong here. But the generational impact goes beyond Latino audiences. Gen Z and millennials already embrace global culture. K-pop, Afrobeats, Latin trap, reggaeton. Bad Bunny's halftime show signals that global sounds are no longer crossing over. They've arrived. And they're not guests. They're headliners. The Super Bowl is often seen as a symbol of traditional American culture. Football, commercials, patriotism, mass spectacle. By centering Puerto Rican culture, Bad Bunny subtly expanded the definition of what American looks and sounds like. Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens. Yet their culture is often treated as other. This performance collapsed that distance. It said, "This is American. This is global. This is intertwined. Culture is not singular. It's layered." And halftime shows are becoming mirrors of that complexity. Every cultural shift meets resistance. Some critics argued the show was too political. It wasn't traditional enough. It leaned heavily into identity. But here's the truth. Every halftime show reflects identity. Country artists reflect one identity. Rock artists reflect another. Pop stars reflect another. Bad Bunny's show simply reflected a broader demographic reality. And when demographics shift, culture shifts. Controversy isn't a sign of failure. It's often a sign of transformation. So what happens next? We may see more non-English headliners, greater global genre diversity, artists using the halftime platform for cultural storytelling, a blending of sports, politics, identity, and art in even more visible ways. The Super Bowl halftime show has always evolved, but this felt like acceleration, a turning point, a reminder that mainstream culture is no longer monocultural. It's multilingual, multiracial, multidimensional. When history looks back at this halftime show, it won't just remember the set list. It will remember the symbolism, the language, the pride, the conversations. Bad Bunny didn't just perform. He reframed what the biggest stage in American entertainment can look like. And that ripple? It's still moving. The Super Bowl halftime show didn't always look like this. In the early decades, it featured marching bands, drill teams, patriotic themes. It wasn't until the 1990s that the NFL realized halftime could be a global entertainment event. Then came the shift. Michael Jackson in 1993 changed everything. He turned halftime into a solo superstar spectacle, a global broadcast moment, a pop culture landmark. After that, halftime became about star power. Prince brought artistry and musicianship. Beyoncé brought precision and power. Lady Gaga brought theatrical storytelling. Shakira and Jennifer Lopez brought Latin pop to the forefront in 2020. Rihanna brought minimalist dominance and viral maternity representation. Each show reflected the cultural temperature of its time. And now, Bad Bunny reflects ours. Let's compare impact. Michael Jackson, 1993. He legitimized the halftime show as a music event. It became appointment viewing. Prince, 2007. Rain pouring down during Purple Rain. Iconic. Unplanned. Mythic. A performance that became legend. Beyoncé, 2013, 2016. Beyoncé's shows were about excellence and Black cultural power. The 2016 performance sparked political debate and conversations about activism in pop music. Shakira and J.Lo, 2020. A celebration of Latin identity at a time of immigration debate. A bilingual show. A cultural response to political rhetoric. Bad Bunny. What's different? Bad Bunny's show didn't include Latin culture. It centered it. It didn't blend heavily into English to soften the edges. It trusted the audience to come to the culture, not the other way around. That's evolution. For decades, Latin artists were described as crossing over. That phrase implies you start somewhere else. You enter the mainstream. You adapt. Bad Bunny didn't cross over. He arrived as he is. Spanish lyrics, Caribbean rhythms, Puerto Rican symbolism, and the mainstream came to him. That distinction matters. It signals a shift from assimilation to authenticity, from asking permission to taking space. That's cultural confidence. Another key piece of legacy? How the media talked about it. Some headlines framed the show as bold, political, unexpected. Others called it historic, unifying, groundbreaking. Media framing shapes memory. Years from now, people won't just remember the performance, they'll remember the narrative around it. Was it controversial? Was it revolutionary? Was it inevitable? Often, the shows that feel controversial in the moment age into cultural classics. Prince was once seen as risky. Now he's revered. Beyoncé's 2016 show was debated. Now it's studied. Bad Bunny's show may follow that same arc. Debate, reflection, reverence. Another difference? The internet. Michael Jackson didn't have TikTok. Prince didn't have Instagram. Beyoncé in 2013 didn't have the same algorithm culture we have now. Bad Bunny's performance lived in memes, reaction videos, cultural breakdown threads, TikTok dance challenges, political commentary reels. The halftime show is no longer just a broadcast. It's a digital ecosystem. Moments don't fade after Sunday night. They multiply. That changes legacy. Impact isn't measured just by Nielsen ratings anymore. It's measured by shares, streams, search trends, cultural debate longevity. There's something symbolic about where this happened. The Super Bowl is one of the most traditionally American spaces imaginable. Football, military flyovers, corporate advertising, national anthems. For Puerto Rican culture, often marginalized or misunderstood within American discourse, to dominate that stage carries symbolic weight. It transforms the field into something larger than sport. It becomes a canvas for cultural negotiation. Who belongs? Who defines American? Whose music gets amplified? Bad Bunny's presence didn't answer those questions outright, but it forced them into visibility. Let's project forward. What might this influence? Booking decisions. The NFL may feel more confident selecting global artists who don't center English. Award shows. More bilingual or non-English acceptance speeches without apology. Corporate branding. Brands recognizing the economic and cultural power of Latino audiences more intentionally. Artist confidence. Younger Latin artists may feel less pressure to alter their sound for U.S. mainstream acceptance. This isn't just about one performance. It's about industry recalibration. 10 years from now, what will people say? They might say, that was the moment Latin music fully claimed the biggest American stage. Oh, that was when halftime shows became truly global. Oh, that was when authenticity overtook assimilation. The greatest halftime shows become shorthand. Remember Prince in the Rain. Remember Beyoncé's For